So I wanted to share this experience that I had not long ago and why positive thinking and coaching, which something I've been involved in, neurolinguistics programming, deep reset stuff, and deep mental reprogramming, all that kind of stuff. It's valuable, but why it didn't work totally to really kind of help me deal with some things that were really lying on the surface. And I had an experience with a person that I'm involved with, and she got really upset at me. And I remember kind of feeling all this energy. And I remember how proud I was for remaining calm in the storm. And I did feel all that energy. I'm like, well, that's her vibe. She's got all this crazy energy. And the next day, I even remarked to her, like, it was really great. You know how great that was for me, just to like be with you and to hear you and not react. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm spiritual. I'm a good man. I certainly don't do the things that I grew up around. Grew up with some, people expressing anger in, pretty overt ways, and I didn't want to be that. So I'm a good person. I'm a spiritual person. I'm a compassionate man. And in creating that identity and that way of operating through, I suppressed emotions. And so I had a reaction that wanted to come up, but based on this idea of who I wanted to be, I suppressed it. So the next day, I remember sharing the experience of what had happened the night before and how proud I was, and I started to feel that same energy again. And what I became aware of is, well, she's not here. I'm having this experience. And so I sat with that later that night. I sat with that event, and I just said, whatever is there, whatever this energy is, I want to just let it come up. I had a full-blown panic attack. And what that showed me was I had suppressed this feeling of fear when somebody gets upset at me for so long, based on the idea of being spiritual, being a good person. So the reason why I share that is because I believe these ideas of who we want to be can be a bit of a trap. It's like an ego trap where I want to be spiritual, I want to be loving, and I want to be compassionate, love and light. But the reality is, in any moment, you're having an experience. And if that experience doesn't match who you are, then we suppress it. That's not good either. It may not be good to express it or escape it. That's something else that I know I've done. So here's how it would go for me. I would suppress it and try to be calm. And if it bubbled up and then I expressed it, I'm like, well, this person is just wrong for me. And then I would escape it. And they bring out the worst in me. The reality was there was so much stuff that hadn't been resolved that wanted to come to the surface. And I wasn't really allowing myself to experience it because it didn't fit the model of who I thought I was trying to be. So I share that with you because I think that's something that we all kind of get trapped into. And we're on this path of awakening and awareness that we aren't being who we think we should be, but the reality is we're all broken. We're all hurt in some way, and that stuff is just, whether it's something that happened when we were 4 or in high school or whatever, there's just things that haven't been resolved yet, probably for most of us, unless you're enlightened. So take note of when those things, there's something coming up and you're struggling with it. Meaning you're struggling to be this person that you think you should be, but yet there's something going on there. That's an opportunity for you to get present to something that was lying under the surface. So you really need to experience those. In that instance, I went to breath work. The panic attack was so big that I relied on my breath work, and I went through various stages of that, from total fear to rage and anger. Those were different sittings. So I encourage you to sit with that as those things come up. Maybe not in the moment, you can't, and sometimes it's healthy to suppress. Like, I have to be present. That's okay. I'm suppressing this consciously, and I'm going to sit with this later. So hopefully that's helpful in you in your journey. And know that I too struggle with my things, but it's all worth the work, because on the other end of that is beauty.